Hello and welcome to Creative Edmo. Today we are going to discuss The Thief's Story. It is the second story in the book Footprints Without Feet. It's a very simple but interesting story by Ruskin Bond. But before we begin discussing it, don't forget to subscribe. So let's start with the story. I was still a thief when I met Anil, and though only 15, I was an experienced and fairly successful hand. So the narrator is a thief. Narrator is the one who is narrating the story, telling it to the readers or listeners. He is the protagonist of the story too. Protagonist means main character. So we get to know that he was just 15 years old, not even an adult, but at such a tender age when you expect teenagers to be immature and inexperienced, he was an experienced and fairly successful hand. That is, he was an expert in his field and his field was stealing from others. So he was an experienced and fairly successful thief. Notice how he describes, I was still a thief. So that means the thief is narrating an incident from his past when he was still a thief. This also gives us a hint that perhaps now he is not a thief. Another important character is introduced here, Anil. Anil was watching a wrestling match when I approached him. Approach means to move closer or nearer. So Anil was watching a wrestling match when the thief moved closer to him. He was about 25, a tall, lean fellow, and he looked easygoing, kind, and simple enough for my purpose. So Anil has been described as a tall, lean fellow. Lean means thin. Another word you can use to describe Anil is lanky. Lanky is someone who is tall and thin. So Anil was about 25 years old. He looked easygoing. Easygoing means someone who is relaxed, who will not get upset or worried easily, calm. So he looked calm and simple enough for my purpose. What is the narrator's purpose? He is a thief. So obviously he was there to con Anil or to steal something from him. To con someone means to cheat someone, to swindle someone, to defraud someone. All these words mean the same. So Anil looked easygoing, kind and simple, and all these qualities made him an easy target. I hadn't had much luck of late and thought I might be able to get into the young man's confidence. Of late means recently or existing just a short time ago. So the thief hadn't had much luck recently. That is, for some time now, he had not been able to cheat anyone or steal much from anyone. So he thought that this young man, that is Anil, could be an easy target and that he could easily win Anil's confidence. You look a bit of a wrestler yourself, I said. A little flattery helps in making friends. Since Anil was watching wrestling match, so he must be interested in it. So the thief began the conversation by praising Anil, telling him that he looked like a wrestler. Just now it had been described that Anil was tall and thin. Not exactly the physique a wrestler would have, isn't it? So the thief was merely trying to flatter Anil. To flatter someone means to praise someone excessively, often for something which is not true. You flatter someone when you want something. So the thief says that a little flattery helps in making friends. Say some nice things about someone and they are likely to trust you. That's how this thief won trust of people and cheated them later on. So do you, he replied, which put me off for a moment because at that time I was rather thin. And what did Anil reply to the thief's flattering comment? He told the thief that he looked like a wrestler too. Now perhaps Anil was being polite, or it could be that Anil understood that the young boy, the narrator, was simply praising him just for the sake of it. Since Anil was thin and so was the narrator, so Anil returned the same compliment to him too by saying, so do you. That is, Anil told the thief that he looked like a wrestler too. This confused the thief because he was thin. Put me off here means it confused the narrator. Well, I said modestly, I do wrestle a bit. Now the thief didn't know what to say when Anil told him that he too looked like a wrestler. So he just went along with what Anil said and added, yeah, I do wrestle a bit. Modestly means without boasting, without making any tall claims or praising oneself excessively, saying something humbly. What's your name? Now notice that Anil didn't ask anything about wrestling further. Perhaps Anil understood that he was saying it like that only. So he changed the topic and asked about his name. Hari Singh. I lied. I took a new name every month. That kept me ahead of the police and my former employers. For the first time, we are told the name of the narrator, the thief, but it's not a real name. So he kept on changing his names, every month a new name, so as to escape getting caught by police and his former employers. Former means previous employers. So people who had hired him earlier, he must have swindled them, cheated them, defrauded them, stole from them. So he was always on the run. So as to stay ahead of the police and his former employers, he kept changing his name. After this introduction, Anil talked about the well-oiled wrestlers who were grunting, lifting and throwing each other about. Now wrestlers apply oil on their bodies so that it becomes difficult to grab them. That's why it's written well-oiled wrestlers. And the wrestlers were grunting. Grunting refers to the sound. When a wrestler fights, picks up the other wrestler, he makes various sounds. Like when you pick something really heavy, it's natural for you to make this sound showing effort. So wrestlers were doing that. Grunting, lifting and throwing each other. Because that's what wrestling is all about, isn't it? So Anil talked about wrestlers. But Hari Singh didn't have much to say. Why do you think that is? Because Hari Singh probably didn't know much about wrestling or wrestlers. He was simply feigning interest. He was faking interest. To feign interest means to pretend to be interested. And why was he doing it? Because Anil was watching the wrestling match and he wanted to win Anil's trust. So he wanted to get to know him. Anil walked away. I followed casually. So Anil was done watching wrestling, he walked away and Hari Singh followed him casually. Casually means in a relaxed way, informally. He wanted it to look natural, so he was careful. Hello again, he said. I gave him my most appealing smile. I want to work for you, I said. Now Anil saw him and said hello to him. And in response, Hari Singh gave him his most appealing smile. Appealing here means attractive. Why? Because he wanted to impress Anil. Hari Singh was a shrewd and experienced thief. He knew that flattery went a long way in gaining trust. So he was trying to be at his best. So he gave him his most appealing smile, attractive smile that would appeal to the kindness of Anil so that he could hire Hari Singh. But I can't pay you. I thought that's over for a minute. Perhaps I had misjudged my man. I asked, can you feed me? Misjudged my man. What does it mean over here? So when Hari Singh heard that Anil couldn't pay him, he thought that he misjudged Anil. My man here refers to Anil, the man Hari Singh had chosen as target. He had assumed that Anil had some money and he looked easygoing, kind and simple enough to be fooled. But it seemed like his judgment was not right because Anil didn't have money. Misjudge means to form a wrong opinion about someone or something. But even then Hari Singh asked, can you feed me? Why? Why didn't he simply leave if Anil couldn't pay him? Remember what Hari Singh said in the beginning? I hadn't had much luck of late. So that means he had not been successful in stealing money for some time now. He was desperate. So he thought if he couldn't pay, at least if he got a place to stay and eat, then perhaps he could wait for an opportunity then. So he asked if Anil could feed him. That is, just give him food instead of money as salary. Can you cook? I can cook, I lied again. If you can cook, then maybe I can feed you. So now this shows that Anil is kind. Even though he didn't have money and didn't perhaps need to hire a cook or anyone, still he agrees to take Hari Singh because he could sense that Hari was desperate. So he asked if he could cook. And being the cheat that Hari Singh was, he lied again, saying yes, just to get the job. And Hari agrees to hire him as a cook and give him food in return. He took me to his room over the Jamna sweet shop and told me I could sleep on the balcony. So Anil was a bachelor and obviously not rich. He lived in one room over a sweets shop. Anil was kind enough to give space to Hari Singh for sleeping. It also shows that he was quite gullible. Gullible means someone who trusts easily and can be tricked easily. So he brought home a stranger. But the meal I cooked that night must have been terrible because Anil gave it to a stray dog and told me to be off. Clearly, Anil found out that Hari Singh lied because he couldn't cook. Anil gave the food to a stray dog because he couldn't eat that terrible food. A stray dog means a street dog, one who is not owned by anyone. But I just hung around, smiling in my most appealing way, and he couldn't help laughing. Now Hari Singh was quite persistent. Persistent is someone who doesn't give up, who keeps trying. So Hari Singh didn't walk away. He hung around. He stayed there, hanging around Anil, smiling in his most appealing way. Again he was resorting to flattery, trying to win Anil over by hanging around him, smiling and hoping that he would allow him to stay. And that is exactly what happened. Anil couldn't help laughing. Later, he patted me on the head and said, "Never mind, he would teach me to cook." So lovingly he patted on Hari Singh's head. Pat someone means to gently touch someone to show love or care. Not only that, he agreed to teach cooking to Hari Singh also. So Anil indeed was a gem of a person. Kind, friendly and generous. Generous is someone who is willing to share with others. He also taught me to write my name and said he would soon teach me to write whole sentences and to add numbers. This shows that Anil didn't treat him like a servant or anything. It seems more like an elder brother making efforts to help improve Hari Singh's life. There was really no need for Anil to teach him, but he wanted to. So Hari Singh was illiterate. Perhaps Anil felt for Hari, who was so young and fending for himself on his own. That is, he had to provide for himself on his own. So Anil, being the caring person that he was, he felt like helping him improve his life. I was grateful. Grateful means thankful. I knew that once I could write like an educated man, there would be no limit to what I could achieve. So at this point in the story, Hari Singh viewed education as a stepping stone towards his life as a more successful thief. Stepping stone is something that helps you to make progress, helps you to achieve a goal. So he thought with education by his side, he would be able to swindle much more money than he did now. That he would be able to cheat more, he would be able to steal more. It was quite pleasant working for Anil. I made the tea in the morning and then would take my time buying the day's supplies. Day's supplies mean whatever was needed during the day like milk or vegetables, etc. Usually making a profit of about ₹1 a day. So being the thief that he was, Hari Singh tried to steal whatever little he could. So he kept ₹1 a day for himself from whatever money he got from Anil to buy the day's supplies. So Hari Singh enjoyed working for Anil. It was a pleasant experience for him. I think he knew I made a little money this way, but he did not seem to mind. Now Hari Singh felt that Anil knew that he was keeping a little money for himself, but he did not seem to mind. That is, Anil never scolded him for it or got strict with him or anything like that. Now it is quite unusual, isn't it? It's not what happens normally. So Anil was quite different from his usual former employers, previous employers. He didn't mind Hari Singh keeping a little money for himself every day. Perhaps Anil let it go because he was not giving any wages or salary to Hari Singh, just food and a place to sleep. Or perhaps Anil was too kind and treated the young boy Hari like a younger brother. That's why he took so much interest in teaching him. Or perhaps Anil didn't give much importance to money. He simply didn't mind it. So let's see what happens next so that we get to know more about Anil. Anil made money by fits and starts. So if something happens in fits and starts, it often stops and then starts again. So Anil's source of income was not regular. He didn't have a steady job with a regular salary at the end of the month. He made money by fits and starts. Sometimes he had money, sometimes he didn't. He would borrow one week, lend the next. So it's a way of saying that some days he would have no money, so he had to borrow from others, that is, he had to ask money from others. And some days he would have surplus money, extra money, so that he could afford to lend money to whoever was in need. Lend money means to give money to someone who asked for it, like a loan. He kept worrying about his next check. Again, we get to know that there's no fixed and steady source of income. That's why the worry for the next check. But as soon as it arrived, he would go out and celebrate. So this shows that Anil didn't plan too much for the future. Whatever money he got, he would go out and celebrate. He lived in the present. So we see Anil was not at all traditional when it came to money. It seems he wrote for magazines. A queer way to make a living. So for the first time we get to know that Anil was a writer, a struggling writer. That explained his irregular income. He got paid whenever something got published. And what does Hari Singh feel about Anil's profession? He found it strange, odd, unusual. Queer means something odd. So unusual is something different, not common. He said a queer way to make a living. To make a living means to earn the money needed to live. So Anil's profession was unusual. So his outlook towards life was unusual too. So perhaps that's why he was so different from Hari's previous employers. One evening, he came home with a small bundle of notes saying he had just sold a book to a publisher. So Anil was successful in selling a book to a publisher and he got some money for it. A small bundle of notes, which was quite a big deal, a lot of money for that time. At night, I saw him tuck the money under the mattress. That is, keep it under the mattress. So since Anil lived in a room, so perhaps there was no cupboard or locker. Also, he trusted Hari Singh completely. So he simply put all that money under the mattress, which Hari Singh saw. Now imagine Hari made profit of 1 rupee a day, and to see the bundle of notes now, that's sure to awaken the thief in him. Let's see what happens. I had been working for Anil for almost a month, and apart from cheating on the shopping, had not done anything in my line of work. So my line of work here, it refers to theft, stealing, cheating. It's a bit humorous. Humorous means a bit funny. How Hari Singh describes his life as a thief as his line of work, like how a doctor and engineer would describe. He talks quite sincerely about it. I had every opportunity for doing so. So he had every opportunity to steal. Let's see how. Anil had given me a key to the door and I could come and go as I pleased. He was the most trusting person I had ever met. So Anil had complete faith in Hari Singh. He trusted him completely. Hari could come and go as he pleased. That is, he could come and go whenever he wanted. So was Anil gullible? It seemed so. Gullible means, as I already told you, someone who trusts other people easily and who can be tricked easily. But then why did Hari Singh not steal from him if he had the keys and everything? And that is why it was so difficult to rob him. It's easy to rob a greedy man because he can afford to be robbed. But it's difficult to rob a careless man. Sometimes he doesn't even notice he's been robbed and that takes all the pleasure out of the work. Now, Hari Singh's conscience seemed to be awakening. Conscience is your moral compass, your sense of right and wrong. Deep within, Hari Singh knew what a wonderful person Anil was. He hired Hari even when he lied. Even when he got to know that Hari was a terrible cook, he not only taught him to cook but also to read and write. So deep within, Hari knew that Anil didn't deserve to be robbed. He found it hard to break the trust and the heart of such a man. So he tried to justify why he didn't rob him. So according to Hari Singh, it was easy to rob a greedy man. Greedy men have lots of money because they spend a lifetime hoarding money, getting it from wherever they can, so they could afford to be robbed. But a careless man wouldn't even notice if his money went missing. And that would not make the robbery pleasurable because the person might not even notice the skill of the robber who stole from him. So you see how Hari Singh was justifying that he was not robbing Anil because it wouldn't give him that much pleasure. In fact, he was not able to rob him because Anil was too good to him. His conscience wouldn't allow him to break Anil's trust. Well, it's time I did some real work, I told myself. I'm out of practice, and if I don't take the money, he'll only waste it on his friends. After all, he doesn't even pay me. Now this paragraph shows the dilemma of the thief. Dilemma is a difficult situation in which you have to choose one option out of the two given options. So it's like he's fighting with himself, trying to persuade himself that he should get back to his business of stealing. It's time I did some real work. Now, since he considered himself an experienced and successful thief, real work for him was stealing. Rest was all an act. I am out of practice. This means that recently he didn't steal anything, so he was a bit rusty, out of practice. So he needed to get back to stealing so as to be an expert again. Now he's trying to persuade himself that he must steal from Anil. So he's trying to find all the reasons to convince himself, and if I don't take the money, he'll waste it on friends. So it's better I steal it only, and after all he doesn't even pay me, so if I steal it's okay. So you see how he is trying to justify himself, convincing himself that stealing from him would be okay. Anil was asleep. A beam of moonlight stepped over the balcony and fell on the bed. So Anil was sleeping and moon's light fell on the bed where he was sleeping. A beam of moonlight means a ray of light from the moon. It stepped over the balcony and fell on the bed. This is just a creative way of writing that the moon's light came from the balcony all the way to Anil's bed. I sat up on the floor considering the situation. Still the dilemma is there in his mind, to do or not to do. Secondly, he is considering his options, what he would do if he stole the money. If I took the money, I could catch the 10:30 express to Lucknow. So he thought he could catch a train and flee the city. Flee means to run, especially after doing something wrong. So slipping out of the blanket, I crept up to the bed. Since he was getting ready to steal, he was being careful, like a robber. He quietly came out of his blanket, slipping out of the blanket. Crept up to bed. Crept is the second form of creep. To creep means to move slowly and carefully in order to avoid being heard or noticed. So he reached Anil's bed, where Anil was sleeping peacefully. Now he was reluctant. It's not like he took the money and left. He was looking at Anil, observing him. So there's the reluctance again, the hesitation to steal from the man who trusted him so much, who did so much for him. His face was clear and unlined. Even I had more marks on my face, though mine were mostly scars. Now, unlined in general means like not having wrinkles, but here this word also means showing no signs of worry or anxiety. So Anil was a good man, and people who are good often sleep peacefully because they don't feel guilty. So that's why Hari observed him to be peaceful, his face being clear and unlined without any worry or concern. Anxiety is the feeling of being worried. So another thing to notice here is that in one line there's the comparison between the lives of Anil and Hari Singh. Even I had more marks on my face, though mine were mostly scars. Now scars are painful reminders of wounds suffered in the past, as shown in the picture here. So the painful childhood of Hari Singh has been compared to that of the comparatively easier life of Anil. Very important point. Please remember it. Hari Singh was perhaps an orphan who had to survive in this world on his own from a young age. So he had lots of scars. He was about 10 years younger to Anil, but had more painful memories and scars, whereas Anil's face was clear and unlined. So the comparison of faces provide a comparison of their lives too, and perhaps this explained why Hari Singh was a thief. My hand slid under the mattress, searching for the notes. When I found them, I drew them out without a sound. So he put his hand under the mattress, quietly, as shown in the picture over here. So when he found the notes, he took the notes out quietly, drew them out, took them out. Slid is the second form of slide and drew is the second form of draw. Anil sighed in his sleep and turned on his side towards me. I was startled and quickly crawled out of the room. So Anil sighed. Sighed means took a deep breath in his sleep and turned towards Hari Singh. Now this startled him. Startled means surprised him. It was as if Anil were watching him break his trust. So he quickly crawled out of the room. Crawl means to move on your hands and knees close to the ground. So without making sound, he quickly crawled out of the room. So he finally stole the money. When I was on the road, I began to run. I had the notes at my waist held there by the string of my pajamas. So finally he stole the money and ran. And he hid notes where? Under his shirt at his waist, held there by the string of his pajamas. The string is the rope with which pajamas are tied at the waist. So he kept the notes there. I slowed down to a walk and counted the notes. So he slowed down because he had just seen the bundle of notes. He didn't know exactly what the amount was. 600 rupees in 50s. So 50 rupees notes and total 600 rupees, which was quite a lot of money at that time. I could live like an oil-rich Arab for a week or two. Now Arab here means a person living in Saudi Arabia. As you know, that place is quite rich in oil. So people over there, an oil-rich Arab, would have luxurious and expensive lifestyle. So you must have seen how grand places like Dubai, Oman are, which are rich in oil. So he thought that it was enough money to live quite comfortably for a week or two. So he could splurge the money, spend the money and enjoy. When I reached the station, I did not stop at the ticket office. I had never bought a ticket in my life. Why? Because he was a thief. So he always travelled without a ticket. But dashed straight to the platform. Dashed here means to run quickly. So he ran quickly straight to the platform in order to catch the train. The Lucknow Express was just moving out. This is the name of the train. The train had still to pick up speed. So when the train starts, it's slow. It picks up speed after some time. So it was moving slowly and I should have been able to jump into one of the carriages. Carriage is a section of a train. So he could have easily jumped inside. But I hesitated. Hesitated means he was reluctant. He paused for some time because he was not sure if he wanted to catch that train. So he hesitated for some reason I can't explain. And I lost the chance to get away. So he stole the money but he couldn't run away. Some reason I can't explain. But we know that reason. It was his conscience as we discussed earlier. He couldn't bring himself to break Anil's trust. When the train had gone, I found myself standing alone on the deserted platform. Deserted means empty. So since the train had left, the platform was empty. I had no idea where to spend the night. I had no friends, believing that friends were more trouble than help. Now this shows how sad his life must have been. He had no friends and his life had been so tough that he never learned to trust anyone. He thought that friends were more trouble than help. They could lead him to get arrested. And I did not want to make anyone curious by staying at one of the small hotels near the station. Since it was a small city, so if he stayed at a hotel all alone without any luggage, the hotel staff might wonder, get suspicious. So he didn't want to make anyone curious. Curious is the one who wants to know things or the one who asks too many questions. So he didn't want to make anyone curious, make anyone suspicious. The only person I knew really well was the man I had robbed. Now look at the irony of the situation. The only real friend he had was perhaps Anil, the one he had just robbed. Leaving the station, I walked slowly through the bazaar. Bazaar is the market. So now he's not running. He's just simply walking slowly because in his mind he was thinking also. In my short career as a thief, I had made a study of men's faces when they had lost their goods. Goods means things. So again he refers to being a thief as his career. So I had made a study of men's faces when they had lost their goods. So Hari Singh is talking about how people reacted when they lost their valuables, their goods. The greedy man showed fear. So the greedy man showed fear, afraid because he lost all the wealth. For a greedy man, money is the most important thing. So he showed fear. The rich man showed anger, angry that how dare a servant rob him. The poor man showed acceptance. So poor man is used to suffering. A poor man often is unlucky, so he accepts robbery as God's will and accepts his fate. But I knew that Anil's face when he discovered the theft would show only a touch of sadness, not for the loss of money, but for the loss of trust. So Anil was different from all, unique. Hari Singh knew that Anil wouldn't mind the loss of money, but the loss of trust. That's what would make him sad and disappointed. So this paragraph shows how perceptive Hari Singh is. He knows how different people would react, and he is also aware that how Anil was different from anyone he had ever known. I found myself in the Maidan. Maidan is the open space, and sat down on a bench. The night was chilly. Chilly means cold. It was early November, and a light drizzle added to my discomfort. Light drizzle means light rain. Added to my discomfort. So he was just wearing kurta pajama, must be feeling cold, and to add to that, the rain started. So also he was emotionally disturbed too, and this rain added to that discomfort also. Soon it was raining quite heavily. My shirt and pajamas stuck to my skin. When clothes get wet, they stick to your skin, isn't it? And a cold wind blew the rain across my face. So along with rain, the cold wind also started blowing. I went back to the bazaar and sat down in the shelter of the clock tower. So he went back to the marketplace and he sat down in the shelter of the clock tower. So he found shelter under that clock tower. There must be some shed over there. So he sat over there. The clock showed midnight. So it was almost around midnight, 12 o'clock. I felt for the notes. He could see they were damp from the rain. So the notes were damp. Damp means wet. Anil's money. In the morning he would probably have given me 2 or 3 rupees to go to the cinema, but now I had it all. I couldn't cook his meals, run to the bazaar, or learn to write whole sentences anymore. So again the dilemma. He knew that Anil cared for him, so he knew Anil would have given him money to go to the cinema to watch a movie and enjoy. He had it all. Now he had all the money. But what was the price that he paid for it? Now he could never be with Anil again. He couldn't cook his meals. He really enjoyed all this. He couldn't run to the bazaar, or most importantly, he couldn't learn to write whole sentences anymore. He couldn't continue his education with Anil. I had forgotten about them in the excitement of the theft. What's them here? Whole sentences that Anil was going to teach him, his education. He had forgotten about them in the excitement of theft. It didn't occur to him in that moment that by stealing the money, he was sacrificing his education. Whole sentences, I knew, could one day bring me more than a few hundred rupees. It was a simple matter to steal, and sometimes just as simple to be caught. But to be a really big man, a clever and respected man, was something else. Now look at the transformation of Hari Singh. Earlier he viewed education as a weapon, as something which would make him a better thief. Now he viewed education as his ticket to lead a better and a respectable life. It was indeed quite simple to steal, so stealing was easy rather than working hard to earn a living. But equally easier it was to get caught. So there was always that danger. One could never lead a life of respect. I should go back to Anil, I told myself, if only to learn to read and write. So finally he seemed to have made up his mind to go back to Anil. I hurried back to the room feeling very nervous, for it is much easier to steal something than to return it undetected. So hurried back, he ran back quickly to the room feeling very nervous because to steal something is easier, but to put it back exactly at the same place so that no one can detect it that it was stolen in the first place, that's the real challenge. I opened the door quietly, then stood in the doorway in clouded moonlight. Clouded moonlight, clouds were there in the sky, it was raining, remember? So clouds must be passing in front of the moon, hence he uses the phrase clouded moonlight. Anil was still asleep. So Anil had not woken up. I crept to the head of the bed. So while creeping while stealing also he crept. So while putting it back also he crept up to the head of the bed and my hand came up with the notes. So he took out the notes. I felt his breath on my hand. So imagine how nervous he must have been because he had to do all this without waking Anil. I remained still for a minute. So he just was still there so that he shouldn't wake Anil. Then my hand found the edge of the mattress and slipped under it with the notes. So he put the notes back from where he had taken them out earlier. I awoke late next morning to find that Anil had already made the tea. So normally Hari Singh made the tea, isn't it? But this morning Anil had made the tea because Hari woke up late. He stretched out his hand towards me. There was a 50-rupee note between his fingers. My heart sank. Sank is the second form of sink. So the phrase heart sinks, this is used to express a feeling of sudden sadness. So he thought that Anil caught him because there was a 50-rupee note between his fingers and his hand was stretched towards him. I thought I had been discovered. So he thought that now Anil got to know about the robbery, so he caught him. But it seemed like this was not the case. Why? I made some money yesterday, he explained. Now you'll be paid regularly. So Hari Singh was expecting a rupee or two that Anil would give him for cinema. But Anil gave him rupees 50. And Anil promised that he would get regular salary henceforth, and that too rupees 50. So he was giving him his salary. That's why he gave him 50 rupees. My spirits rose. Rose is the second form of rise here. So if your spirits rise, you feel better, you feel happier. But when I took the note, I saw it was still wet from the night's rain. So if Hari Singh felt that, so obviously Anil would have felt it too. Today we'll start writing sentences, he said. But Anil did not talk anything about it. He simply said, today we'll start writing sentences. He knew. Who knew? Anil knew. But neither his lips nor his eyes showed anything. So Anil clearly knew that Hari Singh tried to steal the money. Because why? The notes were still wet. But he had also realized that he came back with the money and put it back. So this is what mattered more to him. So he didn't embarrass Hari. He didn't make him feel bad. He simply pretended as if he knew nothing. Imagine how big his heart was. Such a noble thing to do. And Hari Singh realized this too. I smiled at Anil in my most appealing way, and the smile came by itself without any effort. So he gave his most appealing smile, but very big difference here. Earlier his smile used to be fake, not genuine, because he was smiling to flatter Anil, to impress him, to win his confidence. So that was all an act. But now the smile came by itself. It was natural, it was genuine, and he didn't have to put in any effort because he was not trying to impress Anil now. It happened naturally. It was a genuine smile. And the story ends here. The thief's story. So this was truly the story of the transformation of a thief. How the goodness of one man changed a thief. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be providing answers to some important questions in a separate video. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon. That way you'll be notified when I post my next video. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share and comment. Thank you.